Hi, good people. It is yet another day, another time that we meet here on the Benjamin Zulu Show, one of the best shows, and I know it is your favorite shows with one Benjamin Zulu. Now, you and I know that all of us are cultural beings. We are social beings, okay? We have been formed as a result of our cultures. What do I mean? You and I have developed certain filters that inform our decision-making processes. So today on this show, we are going to talk about the cultures that are endangering your marriage, by the way. Those beliefs, those funny value systems that are endangering your marriage. Cultures that destroy marriages. All right, that is what we are going to talk about today on this beautiful show with one Benjamin Zulu Show. Hi, Benjamin.
Hey, I like that. Can you talk about a cultural incident that happened in the Bible and has had reverberating as really had a ripple effect for many years?
Yeah.
Jacob liked a certain girl and went to do the wedding, and on the night of the wedding, the father-in-law, the father to the girl, switched the girl.
Yes.
And switched off the lights. Be careful, brother, with things transacted in darkness. Yeah. But that also tells, do you know that guy learned in the morning after all the activity? Yeah? That it was not that girl, it was the sister. What's wrong with men? They can do all that. Imagine, without knowing. Moral of the story, always include a few checks. If you are suspicious. But you see, the guy had waited for 7 years. I think he was very eager and fatigued. I was waiting for I was tired. You know? Been waiting. One of the things I want you to learn is the following.
Yes.
When the father was challenged to explain why he cheated, conned him, he said, we have a cultural practice. Mm-hmm. Our tradition does not allow the younger girl to be married before the older one. But anyway, because we wanted this one, we can still add. Jacob wanted one wife. Now he's being told to marry two. Not only two, sisters. Do you know? Sibling rivalry. That guy was going to have 2 levels of rivalry in his house now. Rivalry from sibling and rivalry among co-wives.
Yes.
Those are 2 levels of rivalry. And because he loved, he still worked. That guy worked 7 plus 7. How long can you work today? The story of Jacob inspired me to work for my woman. Mm-hmm. Mine was not 7, neither 14, but I remember it was a block of 5 years. Mm-hmm. I did not know her, but I was doing what Jacob was doing. He was paying the price to get the woman he wanted. Yeah. This is the paradox, bro. I want you to work for those years. I want you to prepare for so many years. I want you to be a man, to build. Being a man is not born, it's made.
Yeah.
All right? Mm-hmm. When you are born, you're just a male human being. Okay? Just a male human being with a species name. Homo habilis. David tells Solomon to show himself a man, to prove, to demonstrate, to be a man. You must demonstrate your manliness by your behavior. Yeah. Jacob demonstrated with his patience and single-mindedness for 7 years. How many years? And I told people yesterday, the other day, that don't marry a person who has not spent any time alone. Mm-hmm. From the time you leave home, around 18 to 20, from that time to around you get married, make sure you're not marrying a girl who has been hip-hopping. From one relationship to another. That's a refugee. That's a person who is on the run from their own self. Brother, if you marry a girl on the run, both of you will have to run. Okay? You need a person who who did what Jacob did.
Yeah.
Spent single time building, preparing. Jacob knew who he was working for. Today, we don't have to know. You just have to know what kind of a woman. Don't book a woman for 7 years.
Yeah.
She'll evolve with another thing. Men have tried. One of them was telling me today, man, I'm 40 already, and I married this guy 18 years now. When you're 40 and you've been married 18 years, if you were 22, how old was she? Probably 19.
Yes.
How do people call a 19-year-old a wife? Please help me understand. I think there's something I'm missing. I keep hearing it from men, and I'm lost. How do you call a 19-year-old a wife? You can also see she's childish in her behavior, innocent, blank. Surely, I don't get it. And I ask him now, forget the girl, tell me what you were thinking a 19-year-old can be tied down for life. And I asked people the other day, how can you expect a 3-year-old to sit still on a seat for the whole day? 3-year-old?
Never.
How do you expect a 19-year-old to sit in one marriage for life? She has not explored.
Yes.
She has not seen life. She does not even know herself. She still wants to run up and down. And that's how men marry a woman. When you're already on a king empire, she's sleeping with a shamba boy. She never explored, and she's still exploring.
Yeah.
And you see, you have a car you wanted her to build up with you. Who told you she wants wealth? Some people want poverty. People don't want discipline. People want a reckless life. They don't call it poverty, but it's an undisciplined life. All right? Yeah. Clubbing here and doing this here, doing this here. That time she did not know what was what. And you used your need to get her. So what we are saying today is there's some cultural practices that can ruin. They made Jacob to marry 2 wives when he had not planned that way, and they were sisters. That rivalry went on for many years. That rivalry affected the relationship. Listen, if you realize where you are marrying their culture, and I want to tell you the following, that you don't expect a girl. There's a guy who he went to study in India and married a girl there, and they came back to Kenya. All right, the girl was not Christian, he was Christian, an Adventist, a very strong one. But they studied together. They realized they actually come from the same culture mentally. I call it soul family. Remember that we call soul family?
Soul family, yeah.
People you think alike, people you have depth. Let me remind you the simple symptoms, the simple signs. Long conversations and deep laughter. Not a lot of people you can enjoy and find yourself, your stomach's tired for laughing.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people you can talk and time flies. You met at 1 and it's already 8 p.m. Oh my God, where did time go? It's not a lot of time you even feel so much at home. They feel like you have known them for years. That's a sign of a soul family. Hopefully the one you marry will come from that family. Hopefully. Hopefully. That's why you see people who are closer to someone else than their than their partner, because they just married out of physical, out of involvement, out of this, out of pressure, out of. But then they begin to meet people, they connect so deeply, they can't resist it. They can't resist it. I want you to marry a woman you connect deeply, so that even when you meet others here whom you connect deeply, you're not surprised. You know that, and you're not hungry for such a connection. You have it at home. A person you can joke every day. Take things easy. Play. Good. That is how you know you're within your soul family. All right? So, this guy had a soul family connection with Rachel, but he's forced also to marry Leah. All right? And because it's a younger sister, I'll teach you the layer. There are many layers to that story, because it turned out that the woman who he wanted was the cunning one, who had secret idols. She was more pretty, but also cunning. Be careful. We have women who are sensational, but they're also sly. The others who are not that much curvy, but they're more reliable.
Yes.
We're not relating physical beauty with character. We're just saying sometimes you can have sisters who go the opposite. Especially sisters. Yeah. Even today, the firstborn sister is always more calm and mother-like. The second-born sister is always liberal spirit, easygoing, playful. All right? This is not about character, just personalities. Many times, the first daughter is always, many times, compliant and looking like a young mother. Already looking, and I told you they are the best to marry. They are the best. Firstborn sisters. Firstborn daughter. They have already taken care of a family. It's a deputy. They are deputy mother. Somewhere. Once you realize there's a cultural practice that is likely to interfere, these are the following. So one of them is when the family chooses to favor another over this. And that was, today it's not there, but it affected Jacob. I want to tell you some of the practices that today may ruin you. One of the things is, have you noticed that there are some traditions, if you marry from that culture, it's like you are adopted as a son. You're not just a son-in-law now, you're a son. What is I told you to avoid having too many fathers.
Yes.
Because the authority of a father is permanent and lifelong and strong. Avoid having too many fathers. When it's a father-in-law, let them remain
father-in-law.
In-law. So that you build friendship without obligation. All right?
Yeah.
Now you can interact without that uneasiness that comes from, that's my dad. All right?
Yeah.
Dad has the authority to bless or curse. But you don't want that too much. It's better to have friendship. So they want to adapt you and control your life and dictate where you live, the business you do, how you name your children, the kind of house you build, how you relate with your wife. All right? And I told you this happens more so when the family is more powerful than you. If you marry from higher social class, prepare.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you cannot do it, but sometimes they have laws you can't change. True. They have laws you can't change. And if you try to fight against them, it will take you a lot of time. And it will create another tension. All right? Yeah. There are many powerful fathers and powerful parents who never allow the daughter to individuate, and that's a disaster. Never marry a girl who has not individuated. Individuating means becoming separate enough to make her decisions without needing approval from home. That she can honor the parents by informing them the direction she's going. She's marrying Brahman. And even if they don't like it, they already know this girl has made up her mind. We are going to agree with her. We hope she does well. Not those parents who say, I cannot stand a Kishi in my home. I don't want a white person in my home. I say that. All right?
Yeah.
The one destructive culture is when they adopt you, they don't allow you to individuate and to live your life. And I warned the other day, I said, brother, if you and your mother are darlings, so close.
Darlings.
Call each other darling. If I see you calling your mother darling, I'm not saying you can't, but it's not African. Darling. Sweetie. Let girls call each other girls, sweetie, whatever. Yes. But Brahman and mom, darling. Now, if you and your mother are best of buddies, it's okay to be close to your mother. But the moment you begin to get married, I want you to realize the woman who is coming must be the first priority.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
Please, let's get this right. If you have not separated yourself from your mother or your sister or your daddy enough to lead a separate life with your wife, you're not qualified to be anybody's husband. You're not. Do not torment anybody by bringing them to your home to be a child generator when the real wife is your mother. Sometimes it's the mother who is the woman. Sometimes it's the mother who is calling the shots. Yeah. It's the mother who is dictating how to cook for her son. Imagine, she's coming to teach the new wife how to cook for my son. My son does not like that. My son does not like that. My son. And I told you, when you marry a wife, don't send her home.
Yeah.
With the cows and the goats and the chicken. She's your wife. She's not a worker. Stay with her and build a life together. Visit home. In the previous generations, the women will be left home. The man is away in the city. La 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 la. Today, brother, busy as you are, who will cook for you if she's home? Brother, you wanted a helper. A helper should be where you are. Even if by the time you're starting, she's working for UN and she has been sent to Burkina Faso. Let's say she's working in Burkina Faso. She's on a 3-year assignment.
Or Afghanistan.
If she's far away, after you get married, marriage requires you reorganize your lives, you finally end up together.
Yeah.
So that even your children can grow with both of you as much as possible. Sometimes job and circumstances can interrupt, but even when they interrupt, make sure you meet regularly. You better pay the flights. And I realize when these flying companies, when you fly frequently, they even give you discounts.
Yeah.
Actually, if you can book a flight every month for the next 1 year, you can almost pay half the price. Imagine.
It happens.
They like the advance money. Remember the advance money and the time. Have you asked yourself, when you pay a ticket in advance, it's cheaper, but when you pay at the gate, it's higher?
Yes.
Because you gave them time You give them assurance that you will show up. Time matters. When you pay ahead, they deduct because you're allowing them to pay the to use the money. But if you come at the gate, there is no assurance. You might or you might not show up. So, even if she's in Burkina Faso, another country, wherever, but you guys are trying to bring your life together, you must work out logistics. And I warned you, if the logistics are impossible, yeah. Brother, don't tell me my girlfriend is in Bahamas. You're somewhere. Yeah. Trouble. No, I don't allow you. No, you are sure. You are chatting somewhere in man, and the girl is in Caribbean islands. Let me see, have you woken up? Oh, sorry, it's night. Yeah, oh, okay. Surely, if you are struggling to get fare to go to town, how will you fly to? So if you lift something and it's too heavy, drop it. Please use simple logic to save yourself. Once you realize you're getting emotionally connected with somebody who it's not practically possible to manage our lives, drop it. It's okay to admire phones and electronics on the glass. Yes. But if you realize the price tag is your 3-year salary, just make yourself a tourist. I was just looking. All right? You will connect with many people who it's not possible. Yeah. It's not practical to be too expensive. And again, also be a person of faith. The things God wants for you, sometimes they don't need you to break your back. Yeah. Do so much of weird things. Now you bring a girl from somewhere in Jalalabad and you're trying to teach me how to speak, how to greet. So, the cultural traditions that involve you to lose your identity, drop them. Once you start talking, even if you guys come from the same community, families have cultures. Cultures come from, we have a family culture, we have a community culture, we have a country culture, continent, we have a people, black people, a certain way they talk, certain way they think. We have this kind of Asian people, a certain way. So check family cultures as well. There are some traditions that if you defy them, they will get angry with you and they can even distance you, alienate you. For example, once you give birth to a child, some families want the mother to come and shave the kid on the left side of the head and throw the hair in the wind towards the south at around the time of sunset on the night of the full moon. Bramwell, Christian as he is, he can't find any scripture this looks like they are performing a ritual. Exactly. It is a ritual. Shave the left and towards the sunset on the night when the new moon. Now, when they throw the hair, and now they know the child will be successful. If it goes, no, you need to do something. There is no future here. There's some traditions that they're not just, the purpose was, it's like there's some gods or some deity they are offering to. All right? There's a lecturer of mine who liked to juggle she's the one who taught me philosophy. So she would ask me a question and I tussle with it for a long. She asked me one time whether an African can be Christian. And I felt attacked because I consider myself quite a Christian. Are you challenging? But she left it there. And I came to realize she was asking me whether your traditions as African are compatible with Christianity. She answered the question after 2 weeks, after I'd wrestled with it. She said, there's some traditions as Africans that are just cultural to maintain our social fabric, to keep our values and our morals. And they are very compatible with Christianity. All right? For example, the social fabric of Africa is very strong. We don't swim with our mothers. Yes. Can you tell these people from? They are swimming the same swimming pool. Imagine. My son-in-law and I are in the pool. Wait, you said who? It's a taboo. Here we still have the ability to blush. We still have the ability to, no, that's not proper. Yeah. I would rather not. All right? So there's some traditions that are okay, cultures that are okay, like respecting boundaries with your in-laws, like, upholding family names, and there's some traditions that are very okay. Others are not okay. The ones that involve pouring libation or worshipping foreign gods, idols. Africans had a lot of idols. All right? I want you to be very careful with those traditions that can hold you back and mix up your faith. And if you're not careful, spiritual world is a real world.
Yeah.
Your child can get given to many other things. So ask the one you're marrying whether there's a particular because before you get a child, it's not on your mind. It's after you get the child, it's not our children are always named after.
Yeah.
There's another naming system that is not in the house. It is started with the firstborn among the one you married. That child is named after, so yours must be, and so that the other one will be, so that this is the system. Mm-hmm. Now you are being introduced to an alien naming system. Imagine. You're being told the only options you have is, unfortunately, it is not it's not has it was established like that. It has been handed down the generations. Mm-hmm. All right. Other girls will tell you their great grandma decreed that they can only get 3 children. You know, they have an order they are obeying from a dead grandma somewhere. There's some traditions that if you're not careful, they come to bring a split. And other people, when they give birth, the mother must come and spend a few weeks in the house. What if you only have 2 rooms in your house, the sitting room and the bedroom? Where will the mother wait? Where will she sleep? No, don't obey traditions if circumstances don't permit it. It's better for her to visit where mom is. You go, the 2 of you, then let her spend a week or something. You get, be flexible. But make sure, as we said, these traditions don't affect the destiny of this child. There are no pronunciations being made. And you're not exposing yourself to haters. Some people don't need to use witchcraft and those shenanigans. The words they say. They think the curse is the spite, the hatred, there are some things that can disturb you and they cast spells and energy into the space, all right? Yeah. The other level, I'm just mentioning categories before you come to your questions. The other level of traditions is you don't want to stop a family culture. There are people who have family get-togethers every now and then. Every now and then they get together when somebody has a new baby, when somebody has this and that, when somebody has this and that. But I want to warn you about something. The family life, day to day, it's not a particular practice like the ones we have mentioned. It's not a particular practice where they consider when you marry here, you are and when dad calls, you must come running. Yeah. That's just a particular practice, or shaving, or mother-in-law visiting, or other traditions that involve you carrying a chicken. Take to this. There's an auntie who dedicates children, and you must come with a black chicken and 777 shillings. If I ask you to give me 7 shillings today. Seriously. So they are told, you hear those practices, be very careful. If they involve another deity, other gods, other idols, don't submit to them. All right. Don't mix. The other thing is family tradition. They are family relations. Make sure the woman you're marrying is that she is ready to build her own family culture, not copy-pasting the one she got from there. For example, she must not keep borrowing money from your in-law, even if that's her father. Yeah. When we need money, we can ask for assistance. But I told you to be ready to start small. Sometimes if your in-laws are if the family is so enmeshed financially, is the one person who's calling shots, giving money and dictating how to be used. Do you know the person who is financing you? The one who pays the piper, calls the tune. Yes. If the person is buying you the car, building you the house, they can also lift a phone and summon you. Yes. And you have no more authority to refuse. Bramwell, start small with your wife. It's okay to be assisted by by the parents if they're able when you're in a situation, but live within your means so that you can have peace of mind. Okay?
I like that.
Live within your means.
Yeah.
Don't depend on the high life being afforded over there, but you feel powerless. Because she was given money, she has also been sent, oh, sorry, I was called, I'm not coming, I'm at home. I was needed, I was called. Who is calling the shots in this home? One guy married from what I was telling you about how they adopt. Then because the father has big businesses, the girl was already working for the father. When he married the girl, he was also given a job in the same shop. It's a factory, it's a big thing. They sell many things. They sell pineapples, they sell farm, but it's dad's business. So he was really adopted. And they were given a house. The same vicinity. Now they are being paid by who? And I told you to avoid many problems on earth. You have other problems to deal with. Avoid your father-in-law also being your boss. Yeah. How many authorities are those? Have you reported to work? Have you sorted this client? Sometimes you can't avoid it when circumstances fix you, but make it as short, as brief, as short-lived as possible. All right?
Yes.
That guy lost all authority because the girl is being still ordered by the father the way he used to be ordered. The way he was to order the girl is to do the same because the setting has not changed. When you marry, tell the girl, ask her whether she's willing now. You go and build, you carve your own space in the world out there. Out there. If they give you an inheritance, thank you. But it should be hands-free, not with a string attached. Obedience, unquestioned obedience. If they give you a business, a car, all this, let them release you. All right?
Yeah.
And I told you sometimes symbolically, you need to move. You need to move to the other side of town, or even another place, to have space to wake up in the morning and struggle and learn together each other and build something independent. Yes.
And I like that. Your ending makes my beginning, Benjamin. You see, that is why it is said, even where I come from, that he who feeds your mother has the potential of beating her in front of you.
Imagine.
That is it.
Imagine.
You see, that is why I agree in entirety with what you are saying. Now, Benjamin, in as far as I agree with all you've said, there is this aspect that I talked about in my introduction, whereby where I go to, you've mentioned about the family culture, and that is where I want to begin from. Benjamin, our families form who we are. Our parents, at some point, they dictated or formed certain decisions or came up with certain decisions on our behalf.
Exactly.
They dictated where we're going to school. Right?
Exactly.
They dictated on who we can be friends with at a certain age.
Right.
Right? So they formed us. Now, Benjamin, those particular decisions or choices that we've seen our fathers make, where later on formed us, they have developed filters in our mind.
You're right.
How we have grown seeing our fathers treat our mothers, how we have grown to see how men behave in our cultures, have formed certain filters in our mind. And that is why you will hear some men will say, where I come from, men don't visit the kitchen. And here Benjamin is here telling us that as a man, you need to be liberal. After you've eaten, take your plate to the kitchen.
You're right.
You see, you need to go to the kitchen, look at how what is almost getting finished, replenish it.
You're right.
Okay? Now, Benjamin, how do you deal with such kind of filters? How do I transit from their decision, from their opinions and how they see things, to my way of doing things with my wife?
The one method is to teach each other. Because you're coming together now.
Yes.
And you're forming something that is not existing from where you came from. You figure it out together. One method is to use conflict. The moment you disagree, it shows you there's somewhere now you have locked a difference. For example, you realize that she went home unannounced. She's telling you and she's arriving at her home. And you are coming home expecting to find her there, and you feel, and then suddenly you realize, oh, I have confronted right away a family tradition where her father is an unquestionable authority. It's a demigod who issues a fiat, a decree. I want everybody here by tomorrow evening.
Yeah.
That includes your wife, because his daughter. All right?
Yes.
Then your girl is telling me, I said instead of us going both of us, let me just go represent us. But you're wondering, why did we have to obey in the first place? We have our life. You don't want to tell her directly. You see now, I'm the new sheriff in town.
Calling the shots.
You don't have to pull all your guns at once. You realize she has lived that way all her life. To obey without questioning. And perhaps it's because the father or the parents have made, the way you say it, they made us think, they made us believe that they made us. We owe them our very existence. They even say that the parent is the second God. Yes. So, that's when you start by, when she comes, you say, now this we must address it. You create time and say, we can't live this way. I want us to create our own tradition. And we must teach our parents that we have a life to live. I warned you the other day that the highest form of disrespect is to keep reporting the experiences of your wife.
True. Yes.
When she realizes you're also disclosing too much, entertain the conversation. You set new rules. Now, we are not just going home at the whims of whoever is summoning people.
Yes.
We have our own life. All right? Number two, we are not discussing us with our people. We are only discussing glorious achievements and good news. Not failures and foibles and weaknesses. we are only saying what good she does for me. Ah, look how she dresses. Oh, my son, you look nice. Oh, it's your daughter-in-law.
Yeah.
She takes. We only praise each other to our people. When it comes to correcting, when it comes to discussing, and when I say that, people say, no, I will not keep quiet. We aren't saying you keep quiet. We are saying discuss with the right people. Don't bottle up until you blow out. Yeah. Discuss with the right people. So, Bramwell, you teach each other. And I want you to be ready to learn when you marry. When you marry, you're also signing up for a lifelong university.
Yes.
You never graduate. Yeah. Keep learning. So you create a new tradition when you come together and say, we need a family tradition. That's why I encourage you not to rush and bring children there just when you have arrived. There's some harmonies that are best done when you are as few as possible. Give it a year or two if you want, so that children demand quickly. When they arrive, that baby, sleeping at night, they become the center of that very needy kids. At night, food, health, temperature. So a lot of conversations will be surrounding the child as soon as they arrive. Yeah. But if you can take that time when you are not, there's no baby, there's no, you can create this culture and learn more, teach each other more, all right? So it's that you teach each other. The other thing, how else you detach and you create a different life, is to look for your own money. One reason we obey too much is because we are being fed too much.
Yes.
Brother. True. You cannot question. Somebody said you cannot challenge the devil you're sleeping with.
Yeah.
You cannot separate from me if I'm also the one you're dependent on. So one way to build a different culture is to get your own money with your woman and start doing your own holidays, your own trips, your own small luxuries, your own foods, your own standards, your own house, your own cars. Money changes how you live because now you can pay for what you want. You can conduct your experiments and fail together and learn together and correct together. In fact, it's enjoyable when you try something together and it fails. You laugh at each other.
Yeah.
You laugh at it and you learn and you go.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, the other aspect, Benjamin, back to the family, you'll realize maybe you're marrying the only child, somebody's only daughter.
You're right.
And this man believes that now you've married my only daughter, you have the responsibility of joining us to be part of this family.
You're right.
You automatically become my son.
You're right.
No longer my son-in-law, one of my sons.
You're right. You're right.
You are mine now.
You're
You see,
right.
Benjamin.
You're right.
And again, Benjamin, we need to honor our parents in such a scenario. How do you deal with it?
Understand that many parents are not coming from a bad place. They're just expressing how happy they are. And you are accepted. They're not saying it from a bad place. And you don't challenge it. Say, no, I don't want to be a son. Don't say that. Because you would also feel bad if they never embraced you.
Yeah.
You feel bad if they never accepted you. So if they're expressing that from the point of we have accepted you fully, be happy. But remember the boundaries.
Okay.
These ones you don't state, you just behave with them. Some things you don't say, you just know them quietly. And know that this girl will always be their blood. You will never be
Their blood.
Remember that. Yeah. Remember that. Always. You should always carry their blood. As much as you want courtesy, you want respect and love, don't become familiar. If she and her people conflict, they resolve easily. Because they have blood. If you make a blunder, interact too much, talk too much, play too much with them, and you blunder, something goes wrong, correcting it will be a nightmare. Okay?
Yeah.
It can strain the fragile connection. All right? You and your people are blood. And if you and your brother quarrel, you can solve it quickly. But if your wife and your brother quarrel, it will be very difficult to solve. Because you have no blood. Remember that every day. All right? So if they're happy to accept you, be happy you are accepted. And do as much as you can to enrich that relationship. But at the back of your mind, always remember, the person I have a covenant with is this girl, not those people. And as much as possible, do everything you're doing through her. Through her. Let her show you what to do, because she knows the people more. This one do this, this one do this. The same way to my people. I have to show her how to handle who to relate with. Because I know the people, I know the nuances. I know the family current. I know some things. Remember that in your mind.
All right, there you have it, guys. That is now the beauty why Benjamin tells you that amongst very many things you need to watch out for, go for that person with that teachable spirit. Because marriage is an institution where you have to unlearn what you learned as a single person and to learn the very new things. Thank you so much for watching Benjamin Zulu Show. Let's do this again next time.